We're looking at the data breach today. Someone stole personal records of up to 4 million current and former federal employees. Let's put that in context. There are only 4.2 million federal workers in total. Bloomberg's Mike Riley is on the phone. He breaks stories on this beat regularly. He understands this better than anyone, and he's who I generally call to understand this. Mike, this morning you broke the story that these hacks are related to the thefts of personal records from Anthem Healthcare earlier this year. How are those two connected? How do we know that that's true, and what does it mean?
It's a really interesting question how those two are connected, or at least why they're going after these two very different sets of data. The way we know that is hackers tend to have things like digital fingerprints. They use certain very, very specific techniques, certain tools and infrastructure. That same hackers who hit the Office of Personnel Management also appear to have hit both Anthem, this big hack you remember in February where they took 80 million records from customers, and Premera, another big healthcare chain. And the question is, what are they doing with all of this data, and how do all these puzzles fit together? And I think that's what the U.S. government is still trying to figure out.
So when we look at fingerprints, the hardest thing to determine in a hack is provenance, where it came from. How do we know, how do we suspect that this is coming from somewhere in China?
So there are various ways they do it. You have basically the computers that they use. Obviously, hackers try and hide what their identity is. But if you use the same sets of computers, and if you can figure out that those computers go back to a set of infrastructure that is already attributed to Chinese cyber spies, then you can they're basically using the same gun. It's like using a gun to commit a crime. That's what happened in this case. They're using an infrastructure that is known to be associated with Chinese cyber spies.
Yeah. Brendan, I think this is critical. Mike's correct. These are cyber spies, not cyber hackers. I don't know what a hacker is. I know what a spy is.
Hacking is a tool. The espionage is the end. Mike, real quick, if we think that that somewhere in China someone has these records, what can they then do with them? This isn't about credit card data.
Right. Don't expect your Social Security number or your medical record to be sold on the criminal underground and somebody to steal your identity. That's not what this is about. This is about something else. And the theories of the U.S. government are looking at now are associated with espionage. So if you have very private data on somebody from their health records, and you can match that now to a database of people who, for example, have national security clearances, then you've got some powerful thing to recruit them. And
Mike, I got to jump in here. You go break something else. Mike Riley from Bloomberg in D.C. on the continuing hacking story.